Yeah, how can you not get confused with so many screen options? Yeah, I've never seen a product offering that many screen options. Crazy. Guys, welcome back to the Off-Grid Garage here in not so sunny and definitely not hot Australia. We have rain for the last 3 days. This is supposed to be the last day. 160 watts coming from above per square meter. So we have 9-10 amps outside now. That's not too bad actually. My battery is still on 45%, which correlates to around 80 kilowatt hours. So before we get started with today's video, I tell you what, these close to 200 kilowatt hours I've connected now to the system here is really comfortable. I think this is a good size now, so you don't have to worry about the weather anymore for a couple of days. It doesn't matter if it's rainy, if it's cloudy outside for 3, 4, 5, 6 days. You still have enough energy in the battery. I'm only down to 45% now. And we have charged both vehicles, had the hot water system on, pool pump is running 24/7, and. It doesn't really matter. Whatever comes from solar goes into the batteries and stays there until we need it. This is super relaxing. I don't need to worry about any energy crisis anymore. 200 kilowatt hours is perfect. But I think we can do with a bit more, right? So my friends, in today's video we want to have a look at the display madness from JK. Yeah, these are all the available displays at the moment on the market for either the B series or the PB series, the inverter BMS here. This is a crazy selection of available options here for just a screen for a product. And today we want to have a quick look at these options here, what these displays actually do, what they show, what they can do, what they can't do, and how to connect them to different kind of BMS. And I also want to briefly talk about the upgrade of these displays here, because all of them, no, this one doesn't, and this one doesn't have the possibility to upgrade the firmware, at least not easily. Maybe you have to open the case or something, don't know. But all the other options here, they can be upgraded with new firmware. Unfortunately, JK is not publishing this firmware anywhere. It's not giving them out anywhere. I think there is some sort of copyright restriction or something. I didn't quite understand what they actually mean, but they don't want people to share these screen firmware versions online, and when you search for them you can't actually find any. And I thought I've seen one of these firmware versions online quite a while back for one of these 4.3 touchscreen displays, but the other day I looked for it and I couldn't find it anymore. So there's no official support for any of these displays from JK, unfortunately. And even they supplied me with some of these firmwares to potentially show you on the channel. I'm not even sure what the purpose is. So even there would be great possibilities to make these displays better, to show more information, to add more functionality. There's no official support. I don't think there's any willingness from Jikong to support these displays in any way. So to test these displays, I have installed here 2 BMS. One is the inverter BMS, that's the 300 amps, so the biggest, latest, greatest model version 19, and flashed with firmware version 19.13. And we also have the smallest JK-BMS here. This is the BD48S4P. Yeah, it's a 40 amp BMS with a 0.4 amp active balancer. So let's get started with the smallest display. This is a 2.3 inch display. It comes with a power button here on the side, and it comes in several different variants. This is only one version. It also comes in this strange case, and this is a mount for a handlebar here for an e-bike or e-scooter, that sort of thing. But the display itself is exactly the same as this version. It just has this weird handlebar holder here. But I don't think these are actually waterproof or something, so not sure why you would mount this on an e-bike. And these holders are also very common with this display. They have this super long cable here. I think it's a 3-meter cable. And here at the end of the cable is this round connector. And all these displays, they come with an adapter. So this one plugs in here. I can screw this in, secure it. And then this goes to another connector. This is like a 6-pin connector. Is this still a JST? I don't know. But it plugs in here, And then on the other end is finally the 6-pole JST connector we can use in the BMS. So, and here with the B series of the JK-BMS, you have this 6-port JST connector down here. The normal switch has 4 wires, positive, negative for the LED, and the remaining 2 are the contacts to turn on the BMS. All the JK-BMS is using push buttons, so the contact is only closed as long as you push the button. And this is exactly the same connector as we have here from the display. So you can either use a normal switch or you can use a display with a switch. They both plug in here to the same port, like this, and then you've got the button here on the side to turn it on. There you go, shows us 98% state of charge, gives you the amps down here, the pack voltage, and I think there are some other indicators when there's an alarm or something, but this is pretty much all the information you get. There's no animation or something. It looks like a speedometer a bit here, or a bar down here, but I don't think they do anything. I've never seen any animations here. In fact, let's check this one out of this BMS here. Oh, this looks a bit different actually. That's the same display, but it has the amps down here now. And it shows us the voltage and the percentage up here in the small display. So that's a different setup altogether. It doesn't have this speedo. Yeah, of course, the first display we pick here from the desk, it has already different versions out there. So basic information, state of charge, current and voltage. That's basically it. Single press off, holding the button, turns off the BMS. And this display also fits into the version 19 of the JK-BMS. And here it is the same, yeah? I've got this button here connected at the moment to the BMS. And this is the same 6-port connector at least. So you can also use this display here with the JK inverter BMS if you want to. There we go. We press the button. It turns on the inverter BMS. Shows us 99%. Current, voltage. Same information, right? And a double click on the button also toggles the Bluetooth of the inverter BMS. So double click, one beep, Bluetooth is off, double click again, Bluetooth is back on. Yeah, pretty basic display. I bought actually a ton of them because they were cheap on AliExpress. I found them for under 10 Australian dollars, so that's like $6 US or something, because I wanted to upgrade all the batteries which had Zeplos or Pace BMSs inside. Yeah, and I made this 3D printed frame here which actually clicks into the existing opening, covers the existing holes of the buttons. Yeah, and then the JK display just clicks into this. So it's quite a nice solution actually. But as you may already seen here on the desk, there is now a different solution for that. So, and yes, once the BMS is started and working, you can actually just disconnect the power button and display, and the BMS keeps running until something happens, or the battery goes down, or you disconnect it, or you plug in the switch again and turn it off that way. Hold it, turns off. And with these illuminated switches here, this 4-port wire, as I said, 2 are positive, negative, the other 2 are the contact itself. So I think the contacts on the right is the 12-volt supply for the LED ring. Let me confirm this again. Yeah, 11.2 volts it gets. And the other 2 on the left are the normal opening contact, and you just bridge them to either toggle Bluetooth or turn off your BMS. So you easily can build your own solution with your own LED indicator and a normal push button if you don't like these ones here. Okay, the next one on the desk here is the 3.2-inch display, completely enclosed, and has only this 6-port connector here on the back. It usually comes with this cable, plugs in here, plugs into the BMS, same as the one before, and then you've got your button here on the right hand side. Push the button and it turns on. So you can already see how bad this display actually is here, and when you push on the display, it looks like a really bad and cheap LCD display. It is not really the best quality here, I must say. So, but this one gives you a bit more information. State of charge, current and voltage here of the battery. It also has a min-max graphic up here. I'm not sure why it shows 0 here now. And negative 40 degrees is because we don't have a temperature sensor connected to the BMS at the moment. But it gives you a bit more information. Here as well we have connected this display to the Frankenstein battery. And if I turned on this BMS JK inside, yeah, it shows us a 3.272 volts. I'm not sure if this is the lowest or an average or something. These indicators here never change. They always look like this. 24 degrees here, 52.3, 9%, ooh, 9% only. And again here this speedometer-like design of the display. Double click, toggles Bluetooth, press and hold, turns it off. I was never a big fan of it actually, because it doesn't give you much more information than the small one, but these ones here are a lot more expensive than the small ones. So I could never see the real benefit of these ones here. But I guess it is an option, gives you a larger display. So, and here as well, this one of course works the same way with the JK inverter BMS version 19 or version 14 and version 15 as well, because they all plug into the normal 6-port connector of the BMS. And it doesn't matter if it's a version 14, 15 or 19 or a JK B series BMS here. Yeah, toggles Bluetooth and turns off again. 3.28 volts. Yeah, that's another option. 3.2 inch. We're getting some more rain. So, and then we have these two 4.3 inch displays for the JK B series and PB series as well. They look the same pretty much. Now actually the frame is a bit smaller on the top one. Connector leaves to the side, connector leaves to the back. This one has an additional 2-pin connector for power or something, an SD card reader, the same as on this one, but this one lacks the extra power supply connector. And because these two don't have any power button, you need to have such a splitter cable. Yeah, it connects to the BMS with the same 6-port connector here, but then somewhere in between it splits up. And this is only 2 wires going to the power button, so there's no illumination, and 4 wires, positive, negative, and data are going to the display. So let's plug this into the B. This one goes here on the back, like this. You push the power button once to turn it on, and oh, this is not great. Hang on. Okay, off. Turn back on, animation comes, and here it is. So this one is a touchscreen, and obviously you have 3 tabs down here: status, cell voltage, and alarms. And it gives you a ton more information, like the average voltage, cell voltage delta, MOSFET temperature, the temperature of the temperature sensors. Oh, what's going on here? Why is it flashing? Oh, something is going on with this display here. Not sure. Alarm normal, charge MOSFETs are on, discharge MOSFETs are on, state of charge, voltage and current. Yeah, cell voltages, all 8 connected cells, nice and colorful, and no alarm. It should actually tell us that there's no temperature sensor connected at the moment. So, what a shame, no alarm. It's probably just another bug in the JK-BMS, because if the temperature sensors are not connected or showing negative 40 degrees, like the other display showed, it should actually pop up an alarm, right? Because something is wrong with your temperature probes, or it is bitter cold. So yeah, this one is turning on and off all the time. Alright, whatever. Let's try the other one. So, this one starts up. So let's see if this one flickers as well. You can also change the language up here between Chinese and English. See, it tells us actually here temperature is negative 200 degrees. Yeah, this one turns off normally. It doesn't have the issues this one has, so obviously this one is faulty. And then with the push of a button, it turns on the display again. It gives you a bit more information. It is a lot larger, so you can actually read the information very clearly. And this is the standard display most of the do-it-yourself batteries came with, until we got the version 19 of the JK inverter BMS. And yes, of course, this display also fits into the JK inverter BMS version 14, 15 and 19. Turn on the BMS. There it comes. Same information. All 16 cells. No alarm. The MOSFET temperature of -200 and the temperature sensors on -200 as well. But here they are all connected. This is actually a faulty BMS here, so I use this one for testing purposes, but none of the temperature sensors actually work. So I'll take this up with Jikong and see if they can repair it. Different firmware actually makes it work. I don't know. But here is a bit of a shame, right? It doesn't show any temperatures, but it doesn't give you any alarm either. It says alarm normal. But this is not normal. And I've seen different designs of this 4.3-inch display. This is the Jikong version 2 do-it-yourself box here, yeah? This has the same design as we have just seen on both of these screens. But here in the version 1 of the Jikong box, look at this. This is a different design. It gives you even more information. Can you do this in English? Thank you. See, like the capacity and the power, which is completely missing on this display. So that's a different design. So let's try a firmware update on this display, which seems to be a bit faulty here. What we need is an SD card reader, and of course the firmware, which is not public. Okay, this is our SD card down here, and this has a FAT32 format. And I've got the firmware for the old 4.3 screen here. So this is just a folder. It's called dwin_z, and there's a bunch of files in there. So we just copy this whole folder onto the SD card. That's pretty much it. So the display is actually turned off, and we insert this SD card into the reader. Yep, it clicks in. And then we just start the BMS again, so power up the display. And we should see that it actually boots from the SD card, which it doesn't. So that's not good. Let's try again. No, this one doesn't do it. Well, then put the SD card into the other display, which was working anyway. Just want to show you how it looks like when the display actually upgrades. So we turn on the BMS again. There we go, it already does it. So it says SD card process, and then it downloads all the files from the SD card into the display, and it takes a while. And up here it says SD card process and exclamation mark, and this is pretty much the whole upgrade of such a display. Why this one is not working, I don't know. Maybe it has some other issues here. But this is how the update works. So it is actually pretty simple to do, yeah. And the new version 19 display as well here. Very easy to do with the flash card reader, and they just need to supply these firmwares online somewhere, and everyone can do the updates themselves, yeah. Get new information, new functionality, new features with the display. But it's not gonna happen. Okay, next one on the desk is this one here, the usual version 19 class high resolution touchscreen display. Comes in this open form, and we can see there's no card reader on here at all to make a firmware upgrade, right? But there's also an antenna here. Look at this shit, huh? Is this for our future Wi-Fi? No, it is not. Well, anyway, for this display to connect, you need to connect a power button back to the BMS to turn it on. This connects to the same 6-port connector we have used just now for all the other BMS, for all the other displays. And now we need the UART cable, which I have misplaced on my desk. I mean, how can this happen, right? Found it. Okay, so here with these displays, obviously they don't fit the old B-series BMS anymore. They only fit the newer version 19 BMS, not even the version 14 and 15, because this additional UART port does not exist on version 14 and 15 of the JK inverter BMS. So version 19 only, unfortunately. So plugs in here, and that's it. And then we use the extra connection for the power button here to turn it on. And this is the usual display here, which gives us a ton of information, not only state of charge, voltage and current up here, but also the battery capacity set in the BMS, remaining capacity, max min cell voltage, temperatures, which doesn't work with this BMS, the power in kilowatt coming in or out of this battery, any alarms, charging, discharging MOSFETs, and how many packs are installed. So if we have multiple packs installed, we can select them all here and can get more information about this specific pack, like all the single cell voltages and if there's an alarm in this specific BMS. Also, it shows us the voltage difference for this pack and also the actual current for this battery it is connected to. Yeah, and you may have seen it already. Look there in the top left-hand corner. It has my logo in it, right? Because we can easily upgrade this display here as well. We need to connect a ribbon cable which has a card reader. And this one connects down here on this small connector. So we have to lift this barrier, push in the flat cable and lock it in place. So now this is connected. Already copied the appropriate folder onto this SD card. We pop this in and then we just do a restart. So we can either disconnect the display and plug it back in. And this does a similar thing, SD card process, downloading, and now it downloads all the files from the SD card into the display. It takes a while. And then it says SD card process and at the top, and that's the whole flashing process. Easy. So disconnect the BMS, take off the card reader and plug it back in, and we may see this animation. No, yes, no. I think it's only when you start the BMS. Okay, let's see if you can see the animation. No, we can't. Ah, I flashed the wrong one. See, it has now changed back to the Jikong logo up here. But before it was mine. Okay, let me... it's actually a good demonstration how easy you can replace the logo, for example, of the display. So this could be a great option for companies as well. They have their own logo on the display then, if they sell these batteries. So this is flashing now with a different firmware again. I mean, Jikong could charge a small fee for that, yeah, to put the company logo into the firmware, send this to the customer, they flash the display and have all their batteries they built with their own logo. How good would that be? I also suggested to Jikong to make this open source, and so the community can actually work on these displays, make them better, more functionality, more features and so on. But I'm not sure if they know what open source is and what the benefits of it are. So this has now flashed again. Take the ribbon cable out, push this one back in. Well, at least it has my logo back in now. I believe they wanted to make a new firmware for these type of displays because they have this little film animation at the beginning. So it would show something like this here, just with my logo. I mean, what a possibility to make some extra cash, right? Yeah, and this is already a newer firmware because it has the alarm tab in here. It has 4 tabs, while the one you probably have at home has only 3. So under settings, you can set the parameters for RS485 and the CAN protocol to your inverter. But the alarm tab is new now. Yeah, and then my friends, last but definitely not least, this is the brand new 3.2-inch matrix display from Jikong, and this looks very familiar to us, right? So let's connect it and start it up. Fire up the BMS. So it also can be customized with a text up here. It says off-grid, only eight characters are possible, but it has this matrix-like pixel style design. Gives us the voltage, the current, state of charge and the power. And this display can also show the information of a group of BMS in parallel. Remaining 621 ampere hours. Nice. Escape is down here. Packs. Yep, there's only pack 00. So this is according to the dip switch on the BMS. And if we go in here, we've got all the cell voltages, for example, then, yeah. So escape. We can also set the RS485 and CAN protocols here for your inverter. And about gives us the version. Ah, there's my logo as well. Look at this, nice, off-grid. And the house and the battery and the sun. Beautiful, version 1.1. Yeah, because you can actually upgrade these displays as well. But this is the total pain in the ass. They actually sent me a Mini Pro upgrade kit, which is this horrendous stuff of cables and this a needle connector. It has some spring-loaded needles. And you connect this one to your computer running a certain software. You have to load the firmware file into your computer and then push these buttons onto these 5 pins down here. And this one starts beeping then, and after a while it has uploaded the firmware to the microcontroller here of the display. So it's a bit of a pain of the ass. Not sure why you would design it like this and not having one of these small ribbon cable connectors on the back. See, they already have one here. So why not have this one here? Put the information on an SD card. So much easier than using this stuff. I don't even know why they have sent me all this stuff here to show on this channel, because this is all not public available, yeah? As I said, they are not supporting these displays, firmware updates. Such a great option to modify and customize the displays, but they don't take it. Yeah, and obviously this brand new 3.2-inch display here can only be connected via UART to the version 19 of the JK inverter BMS, so it doesn't run with the B series obviously, and not with the version 14 and 15 of the inverter BMS. And yeah, the shape and the form factor and the PCB looks very much like, where have we seen this before? Ta-da! Here in the Google Power Battery, for example, yeah? The SR1 pre-assembled battery box comes with a Pace BMS and the 3.2-inch display for the Pace BMS, which of course has different connectors and doesn't run with the JK-BMS. But these holes and these openings for the display, they're all lining perfectly up. And you remember, blue cables means JK-BMS, yeah? This is a 200 amp JK-BMS version 19 up here with one of these new displays. So look at this. This is the JK inverter BMS connected to it, and it also correlates to the writing on the JK battery. So this is now 100% a JK inverter BMS with the JK display, 3.2 inch. Gives us all the information. Pack number 4. This is number 4 here. Enter all the cell voltages. Look at this. So it's a perfect opportunity to upgrade all these Pace BMSs here with JK, because the BMS actually fits 100%, has the same form factor as the Pace BMS, and now they also have the appropriate display to go into Orient Power, JK Power batteries, Google Power batteries. So we don't need to 3D print these adapters anymore and use this small display. We can now use the new 3.2-inch display from Jikong. Yeah, at some stage I will install this JK display here in the Google Tower box, and then we can connect the version 19 of the inverter BMS with a UART cable, which is hanging around here for quite a while to test the big display. And I was thinking of making a 3D frame for this one as well to fit the new class touchscreen display of the JK inverter BMS. But this one is definitely a nicer and much cleaner solution. And interestingly, you don't need the power button for the JK inverter BMS anymore. You can actually use the top button here, double click. See, toggles the Bluetooth, and holding it turns actually the whole BMS off. And you can turn it on with the top button here as well. So it has a bit of a double functionality built into the firmware here. Pretty nice. But I think there's only one shopper on AliExpress which is actually selling this this 3.2-inch display, this matrix display. And it is quite expensive, 40 Australian dollars, 45 Australian dollars or something. But on the other hand, you know, it's a one-off purchase. You put it in. If you have a Pace BMS and want a JK inverter BMS, there's now an option to upgrade this nicely. Alright, my friends, I have put all this information on my website here. I've got a bit of a shopping guide with all these displays and have explained which BMS they fit and what the benefits are, if there's a power button necessary, an extra, if they have a power button, all this kind of stuff. So all the information is on the website, link down below. And also I've put links to AliExpress where you can buy all these displays all the way up to the version 19 class display. Everything is linked down below. So please do not send me an email and ask where you can get these displays from. It's all linked down below as always. So I hope this clears things up, which display fits to which BMS, how they're being connected, do you need a power button, is it already included, things like this. And it also shows you the possibilities, the naked possibility of a firmware upgrade with most of these displays as well. I keep nagging and pushing Jikong to make this public somehow, but due to copyright, whatever stuff, they don't want to bite. And they don't want to go down this path. Let's see what happens in the future. Who knows? Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all your amazing support. Special thanks always goes to the channel members who are supporting the channel here for less than a coffee a month. Yeah, they're getting a bit of extra content. Some photos of me naked in the pool or something. Sometimes I spoil a bit what is coming next here on the channel. All your donations you're doing, thank you very much for supporting the channel here. Keeping it independent. I'm not reliant on any sponsorships or deal brands or something like this. So it's an independent channel here doing honest and fair reviews, I hope. And guys, until the next video when we have a look at the version 19 JK-BMS again. Yeah, newest firmware, newest computer software, newest app version. There are quite a few changes since I did it last time, so this will come next. And we will see us later again here in the Off-Grid Garage when we do something... I don't know, there's always something to do here, right? Alright, my friends, until the next video, you stay charged, stay safe, and thanks again for watching. See you then. Bye-bye. Yeah. This is all the display chaos we have.